history of the bakery is that we are a very, very small family-run bakery with 4 generations in the village of Capperquin in West Waterford. Now my grandfather, John Barron, who's in that portrait up there on the wall, he started the bakery in 1887, having returned from New York. He was a trained baker and he got married to Nora Collender, and the plan was that he'd go to New York and work, and she was with her first child, Mary Rose. When she had the baby, she lost the heart to go to America. My grandfather, being a noble man, he came back. So they started the bakery here then. After him, my father, Joe, took it over. I was the career lady. I'm a domestic science teacher, and I came home, learnt the trade from my father. He was so passionate about it that I just was a great joy to him at the end of his life. And I carried it on from 1980 to 93. My life could have taken a different turn altogether because I wanted to do au pair. I was so saddened when I didn't get that job. And you know, I suppose I was meant to be here. That's the way I look at it. Back in the 70s and early 80s, there was what you call a price war with bread. They made processed bread, and bread that was baked in under 20 minutes. They used bread as an object to bring people into supermarkets, bread being half the price. Now it was a different product. And back in the early 80s, people weren't aware. It affected an awful lot of small bakeries. The purchasing power of bread went into the supermarket and they weren't able to survive. So small family businesses like ours all closed because of a whole change in culture about bread.
It's incredible. People nowadays are intolerant to bread. Bread is the first food. People now realise that their health is the most important thing. So if you're eating food that's grown intensively with chemicals, it's not good for you. It's just kind of common sense.
It's the greed. If you buy this and then you want more and more and more. That's what destroys people. It's all one. It's too focused on just money, money. So when I start making the sourdough, we still make it in the same way, using fresh, good ingredients. And the other thing is our principles and values of leaving our money in our local town. And I think that's what makes us unique today, because what we give out in life comes back to us, I think. You know, we support people and people have supported us. Of course, you have to give a good quality product, but those type of values that we learned from our father, I think carries on. They are not thermostatically controlled, these ovens. They switch on these ovens at 10 o'clock. They take 2 to 3 hours to bring up to temperature to bake the first batch of bread. And it takes 20 minutes for 2 men to put in about 160, 70 large 800-gram pan loaves into that. But before that goes in, it has reached temperature, they switch it off, so the bread is actually being baked in a falling heat. It's a lot of work. So the bakeries we have are passionate about what they do. Most bakeries have ovens that you turn on and they're thermostatically controlled. And when it reaches the temperature, it cuts out. But not with these. They're only as good as the man working them. As you know, bread is the first food. And making a living too, very wholesome. You know, you bake bread for someone, you're nourishing people. You're a doctor. My father used to say, you know, you're a doctor, you have to have it good and good quality for people. And that's what he was doing. He was nourishing and feeding the people around him. There's a respect and you know, we have that sense of community, yeah. Everybody knows about Barrons Bakery.